This is Go Powercat publisher Tim Fitzgerald, and we appreciate you listening to the Powercat Podcast. You can now subscribe to our podcast with iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, among many others. Or you can just come to GoPowercat.com and use the Megaphone.fm player. And remember, K-State fans, you can get 30% off an annual subscription to GoPowercat.com. Complete, independent, professional coverage of Kansas State sports. With analysis and commentary you will find nowhere else. Now here's the Powercat Podcast.
The following is a Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to the Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. It's the Powercat Podcast. And now, let's go to the Spirit Street Studios. Here's your host, Go Powercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to another edition of the Powercat Podcast, our final July edition, and I'm going to declare it right now. Tim Fitzgerald, Renegades, and Zach Carlson. Boys, I'm going to declare it. We've made it through the summer.
Yep.
Camp opens tomorrow. Football is underway in Manhattan within the next 24 hours. We will have media day and all that stuff the following week. Boys, we made it all the way through the summer.
We have a press conference on Monday, don't we?
Is it Monday?
Let me see. Yeah.
We have practice first.
We have practice, open practice at 10:30 a.m. and then a press conference at 1:30. Holy crap, we get to be there that long?
Yeah, it's the whole new world.
Do we get to be there that long, or is that just when we're allowed?
It doesn't say leave at any point. I'm just saying if Kansas State wanted us to leave practice, they should have specified before the press release.
We're going to stay now. We're going to take weapons that we're going to fight to stay. We have a taste of freedom, and we are going to fight for our freedom.
When do we want it?
Sometime in the near future.
But we're not that aggressive to go get it.
Yeah, we're going to have so many media opportunities. It's crazy. Maybe not as many in the fall. They're talking about 3 different days of press conferences. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's be honest here. We're just talking amongst the three of us. Nobody's listening. I mean, with Coach Snyder, he wouldn't let you do anything. Now, they're going to have open practices. They're going to have a day when we talk to assistant coaches and players and a day when we talk to coordinators. On Thursday, after they've done their game plan. It's like, we're going to learn stuff.
Here is the media schedule for us in fall camp.
Here we go.
We talked to Chris Kleiman on the 5th, Chris Kleiman on the 9th. Post-practice interviews with Brian Anderson, Colin Klein, Jason Ray, Connor Riley on the 13th. Post-practice interviews with Messingham and select offensive players on the 15th. Defensive assistants, I'm not going to read all their names, on the 19th. Chris Kleiman on the 20th, Hazleton on the 23rd, and then, holy crap, it's game week.
It's a whole new world.
So much content.
It's amazing. If you're not a subscriber to GoPowercat.com, if you love this podcast and you tune in for it, we appreciate it very much, but the time is here to become a part of the Go Powercat family. We're not screwing around this fall. What we're going to provide our users, our subscribers, is going to be really incredible, including the Power Chat. We're very close to announcing the schedule of it. Should I just go ahead and do it?
We'll do the release, but we've done all 4.
These people keep a secret? No, okay.
No.
I'll be putting out the release real soon.
That's why you're writing it.
All 4 are in the can. You know where that comes from, don't you, Zach?
No.
They used to film movies, and they'd have a little can for the film.
Oh.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know either. Thanks for asking.
They're in the can. They're ready for their final edit. Final details on the opening sequence. Wally, hurry up. But yeah, it's ready to roll. First one will be Monday, August 5th. If you're not a subscriber to Go Powercat, I'm going to tell you not to subscribe today. Don't do it. Wait until Sunday. Wait until Monday. Just wait.
You're going to want to do it by Monday.
You're going to want to do it so that you can get the Chris Kleiman Power Chat. They will be...
Shoot.
Dang it!
Did you do that intentionally?
Did not. But it's
God
not.
dang it.
But like it's a big surprise. It's Coach Kleiman.
Can we bleep it?
No, but they are in two parts because these are hour-long discussions with coaches, players, alumni, eventually administrators, none in this sequence. 4 times a year, 4 Power Chats a year, 4 Power Chats a season. That's 16 interviews a year, and we'll split them in half, so it's like 32 things. So Monday, Tuesday, the following Monday, Tuesday, the next Monday, Tuesday, and then the Monday, Tuesday of game week, we will have our final one of season 1.1. We are fired up.
And if you're not a subscriber, you don't get it.
No, this is behind the paywall. This is the kind of stuff we're going to provide for our subscribers, stuff you can find nowhere else. And honestly, they're not superficial, hey, let's talk about the team stuff you get in a press conference. They're totally different than that. We talk about the person and we get in depth and personal, and that's how I always envisioned this. Just couldn't do it until someone else retired. I'm not going to mention names here on the podcast.
Sil Beniter.
That's it. That was exactly it.
Will.
We're sponsored by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Kevin and everyone has been with us for a very long time, and I would suspect that they will stick with us here into the new sports season. I'll be hitting you up, Kevin, if you're listening. I doubt he listens. Why would he listen to this? I mean, come on. The guy's busy. He's selling liquor and beer and wine.
If he doesn't, breaking. Go Powercat makes shock change to different liquor company.
I wouldn't do that. Nobody's as good as the Fridge, unless I have to get another sponsor.
We like that one.
We're in the WTC Gig Pirate Studios, and we appreciate our relationship with WTC. Eventually, hopefully sometime this fall, if you're a WTC subscriber, that's hard to say, man, which is very few people in Manhattan. They don't do a lot of residential Manhattan. It's just kind of not a good infrastructure to go wire a bunch of fiber. A lot of businesses have it, including us, but smaller towns like Wamego, St. Mary's, all them that have WTC, there will be, get ready for it, a Go Powercat channel eventually. We'll have our own programming channel.
Bum, bum, bum.
We will have Real World with Riley Gates.
Weather in the Morning with Riley Gates.
We'll have The Bachelor with Zach Carlson as he unduly judges women, why they're not good enough for him.
Come on, I'm not Luke.
Damn. From the top rope.
And we will have Fitz's Wing Ding, in which he eats wings all the time. There's really no content to the show. He just, camera as I eat wings. Now, all of our free content, video-wise, including a video version of the podcast, will go up on the channel.
Pretty excited.
We got a few more things to accomplish with that, including cameras for the studio. That's important. If you're going to do video, you got probably have a camera.
Sure.
Well, the first half is sponsored by Tanner's. I'm excited.
Excited for Tanner's or excited for the first half?
I'm excited for the first half.
Okay.
I can't believe we made it through the whole summer. And part of the reason why is I haven't been to Tanner's as often.
It's kind of true.
Summer at Tanner's has always been an enjoyment for me and my friend Toby.
They said it couldn't be done. They said there wasn't enough words out there. But we did it.
How has cancer changed you? Well, I don't drink very much. I'm a morning person, and I pee a lot more than even I ever expected. That's not at all what I thought I'd get out of it.
It's kind of a lousy deal, frankly.
I know. But get into Tanner's. Great place to watch a game or have a beer. Very good food, too. Let's get rolling now with your questions from Wabash Station at GoPowerCat.com's Powercat Podcast for the final week of July.
From KNED, tight ends and double tight end sets seem to be all the rage during talking season. Are there any concerns K-State is really zagging with other guys, but think they are zigging?
I thought it was the other way around. I thought you were.
Zagging.
So does that mean that
Zigging, zagging.
K-State thinks they're doing the same?
No, I think they're talking about doing stuff, but they're not going to do it. They're going to do it, I think.
Oh,
Right?
okay. I understand.
They're going to do it.
Zigging
no matter
and
what,
zagging.
let's setting aside the zigging and zagging, they will have double tights. They will have triple tights with one of them as an H-back in some formations. So let's start doing the counting. You've got 5 offensive linemen. You have a quarterback. That's 6, really.
I'm just keeping track here.
Okay. You have 2 tight ends on the either end of the line. So now we're at 8. Another tight end in the backfield with a running back. So you got 1 receiver.
Got
on the
one
field.
player left.
You got 1 receiver on the field. That will be a power formation they will use, but also throw out of.
It'll be cool. Who do we think? I think Leonard's will be out there. Leonard's healthy.
Yeah.
Who do we think's going to be out there with him?
Well, when blocking,
Do we think
Gammon
anybody?
will be there.
Okay.
I'm not sure on the other one. There's a bunch of guys.
That's why I'm really excited. You know, that's the difference between being able to go to the fall camp and being able to go to the spring practices. Don't get me wrong. I was grateful to go to spring practice. That was fun. That was different. But, like, they were learning the new system.
It's pretty generic.
It was spring football at the end of the day. You didn't really have a good grasp of who was where. We're really going to get a good look here in these practices next week as to who's in what positions, who might be going and when, and things like that, and be able to provide a much deeper and complete understanding of kind of the formations and things like that.
Okay, so in the past we'd have media day, and then we would go nothing until the game week, right?
Right. Every now and then, I think 1 year they peppered in, when I was here, they peppered in like 2 weeks before the game, and you were just kind of like, what?
And they were useless.
Well, because then they made the week before the game, because we got in all of our questions that week before.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't tell you anything anyhow.
Yeah, that too. But no, it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a great experience. Yes, we will have a lot of content free. We're running 2 different news feeds all on the front page. One is our free content that gets a lot of traffic, so we're running that idea too, along with our VIP content for our subscribers. All the in-depth analysis and all that are there, including stuff about tight ends when that time comes.
From KSU number 1, name the offensive and defensive player you believe will make the biggest leap during fall camp.
That's a good question.
Might
Now, do we say leap from spring or
done.
leap from December?
What
Or
they've done, yeah.
Okay.
Mine, we already talked about mine, Nick Leonard's. I mean, he's leaping from half a game played before he got injured last year and into a system that they use a tight end. I think it'll be obvious.
I'll go with Scott France on the offensive side of the ball because I think you'll see him understand that now he has to emerge as the guy. You know, I think Adam Holtorf still holds down the line, but I think you got to see Scott France kind of become meaner and nastier and the lockdown offensive lineman that we knew Dalton to be. So I'll go with Scott.
Okay. Defense?
I am going to say Walter Neal because he was starting to scratch that surface last year. I think we were all like, this kid's coming on.
Did you hear him say he was starting to ass scratch that surface last year? Because that's what I heard.
I did not hear
Okay, keep going, Riley, and ignore me.
I apologize to Walter Neal for insinuating that he ass scratched anything.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That was not my intention. He was starting to scratch the surface, and a mix of a few different things. You know, the team kind of fell apart. I don't want to say quit, but crumbled down at the end. They faced better quarterbacks, better offenses, and he was really new to it. So I think he's going to have his issues. You know, size can only you can play bigger than your size, but also your size is going to come back to hurt you at times. It's just a fact of life. But I do think that he's going to take a step forward as a defensive back.
You mentioned someone now is the guy and has to step forward and will do so. I'm going to go with A.J. Parker. I think he's going to have a good year as a corner.
Become a dude.
Yeah, become more of a dude. He got burned a lot. And I think a lot of it was just confidence and knowledge and understanding of the game. And I think bringing in some new philosophies on the back end of the defense, and it will only help him. But he's the guy now, and he knows it.
Dark horse candidate Jordan Mitty. I feel like he struggled a lot with the transition from Texas State to K-State last year. And I thought he was a better player than Joe Davies, but Joe had that knowledge of Big 12 football.
Yeah.
So he'll be my dark horse.
From Purple Powerhouse, who on defense has a really good chance to be one of the all-time greats, if anyone?
Wyatt Hubert.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's the only guy with enough time left and
Yeah.
a high enough ceiling. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of anybody else.
I mean,
but
you got a lot of seniors over there. I mean, this defense is going to go through a transition. But he's a guy with 2 seasons left that can really make a big impact. And physically, he's there. He will be allowed to do more in this defensive system for Scotty Hazelton. I think his sack numbers are going to rise dramatically.
Was it, in your opinion, was the growth of Wyatt Hubert physically, was it because of they make a change and somebody pushed him harder, or was that just simply, would it have happened under Bill Snyder?
Oh, I think it would have.
I think it would have too.
I think it was just a matter of, in the state of Kansas, you don't just start lifting weights and put on a bunch of body mass. You got to build the foundation. And the state of Kansas limits a kid's ability to do stuff. So you're not as physically developed coming out of high school as someone from Texas or Florida or New Jersey or Ohio, some of those states that really loosen up the rules, particularly Texas. So it takes Kansas kids a while to catch up. And I think once he got the solid foundation for muscle mass, he really took off. He looks like a different guy.
You just said salad foundation, by the way.
I did not. Okay. But a
All right,
salad foundation is good for any diet.
All right, we're even now.
Okay.
From Wildcat Pilot 88, which freshmen burn through their red shirts and which ones play 4 games and maintain their red shirt status?
I feel like in order to, I was trying to. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I'm thinking about things. Now, in order to properly answer the question, we're going to have the roster in front of us because we're definitely going to forget about some people, right?
Well, let's just be honest with our listeners. We're doing this post power chat with one of our. So we've done a hour-long power chat already today, and we went to lunch and ate something really heavy.
I literally said light lunch so we can be productive in the afternoon. They didn't listen to me.
Completely forgot we were doing a podcast today. It wasn't on my schedule, so it didn't exist.
You said it.
I know. It doesn't matter. Got dementia.
All right. Keenan Garber. I'm just going to go down the list here from the start. Keenan Garber. I'll say he'll burn it. Are you going to give opinions too, or are you just going to...
Let's read down the list here. I'll say who I think will burn it.
Okay, Keenan Garber. Oh, so you just want me to read the whole list?
Yeah.
Keenan Garber, Jaron Lewis, Chris Herron, Logan Wilson, Will Jones, Kenyon Reed, Tyrone Lewis, Jay Creighton, Thomas Grayson, Joe Irvin, Josh Youngblood, Jacardia Wright, Jack Stanine, Khalid Duke, Clyde Price, Vaughn Malone, Levi Archer. My God, there's a lot of freshmen. Willie Garrison III, Ben Driver, Brendan Mott, Austin Moore, Cooper Beebe, Taylor I still can't say this kid's name. Taylor Poitier.
I don't know.
Trevor Stang, Trey Eaton, Matthew Palamoa, Elliott Strom, Connor Fox, Miles Livingston, and that's it. I was about to start
How
reading.
big's Connor Fox?
He is 6'4", 244 pounds.
He might be one.
Yeah.
Give him another big tight end body.
Pulamau, I don't know if I could see him burning it, I guess. He'll play, I think.
I think most of the people that burn are going to be skill guys or corners, safeties.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the running backs, receivers will burn.
You think the running backs will burn? Mm-hmm. I don't think they'll burn.
They'll burn for other things. Well, Jack Stanine, I think, will burn.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, a guy like
Grayson might be the returner.
What's the point of burning Clyde Price's red shirt? I think if you get down to Clyde Price needing to be on the field at running back, you got a bigger problem.
Well, it depends on how productive the other guys are, and Clyde Price is a change-up to what you have.
Yeah.
He's a big power guy.
Grayson, then.
Yeah.
I guess I was just picking Price as an example.
Yeah, Grayson, I think, might be a returner.
Okay.
I mean, they might use someone like that with his speed. But, yeah, someone in the secondary will. Someone absolutely will.
I could see Garber, Wilson. That'd be Logan Wilson. I could see Kenyon Reed, Tyrone Lewis, Josh Youngblood, Jack Stanine, and maybe Connor Fox. I could see 7 to 8 guys realistically burning a red shirt this year.
They're going to go through a couple years here where they got to do this.
I think they want to do it.
Just to catch up physically, build the kind of depth they need to. Next year, they're going to lose a lot of seniors, so they want to really plug in a bunch of guys. Don't put it past them. Someone gets injured, then they got a red shirt available. So, I mean, if some guy plays as a freshman, sophomore, and dings up a shoulder, he just sits it out.
I think almost an overwhelming amount of those freshmen are going to push for 4 games. Like, they will.
You will literally have to be physically unable to play at this level for them not to give you your 4 games. And there might be some linemen who are that way.
From KNED, the following Big 12 fan bases are expecting 10-plus wins: Iowa State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, and TCU. Since there are not enough wins to go around, who is most likely to fall short?
TCU won't win 10, I don't think. Wait, hold on. Iowa State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State.
Texas, TCU.
Oklahoma State's definitely not winning 10 games
I don't
this
see it
year.
either.
They don't have a quarterback yet.
Iowa State, Oklahoma State, TCU.
TCU won't, but they'll push. I think they'll push into the 8-game win region. I think Iowa State will be 7 to 9 wins. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Oklahoma and Texas. God, that's so boring.
You know, we find it boring, but the national media thinks it's perfect.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, it is. It's good for the Big 12 if Texas makes it to the college football playoff this year.
So
I almost want Texas in the college football playoff.
Let's say Oklahoma and Texas are really good this year, and they go 12-0 and 11-1 because they play each other. But let's imagine the same 2 teams, same quality of teams they are, but they each get tagged with another loss from Iowa State, who goes undefeated. We're playing a hypothetical here. The Big 12 doesn't become stronger in the eyes of the national media. It becomes weaker. Even though it has a third team that's good, but it's Iowa State, so they can't possibly be as good as
There's
Oklahoma.
2.5 teams that are allowed to play for a national championship in the Big 12. It's Oklahoma, Texas, and Oklahoma State. Honestly, if Oklahoma State runs the table, they like Oklahoma State for some reason, which doesn't make any sense because like Oklahoma State doesn't have anything extra than any of these other schools have. But they're like the only other team that can do it. I know I'm going to get raked over the coals for this one. I always like to cheer for Iowa State, okay? It's annoying when K-State plays them. I don't know why. Like, there's this awkward hate between these 2 fan bases. I mean, like, I get it. I'm not saying either side's wrong for disliking the other side. I'm saying, like, K-State fans hate Iowa State fans. Iowa State fans don't like them. But I like Iowa State. I like to cheer for them.
Well, there's some similarities between the institutions.
Also, Matt Campbell.
The problem is if Iowa State's being successful, that takes a rung of the ladder away from your team.
Yeah.
There's only, so everyone's on their rung. And right now, they think K-State's going to drop back to 1 step ahead of rock bottom, which is Kansas. I don't see that, but I understand why they picked that. And there are only so many wins to go around. And if you're K-State, you've got Mississippi State. If you lose that game, then you got to go 4-5 in the conference to get to 6-6.
Yeah.
The math gets a little difficult. It really does. But I think the conference is going to be very competitive and very entertaining, and that's the reason why I think only those 2 teams will get to 10 wins, because everyone else is going to cannibalize each other and, win their home games or lose games they should win and win games they shouldn't win. It's going to get very entertaining, but it's going to end up with a bunch of 7, 8, and maybe 9 win teams.
It's a better conference than people think. Like, it really is.
The Big 12 in almost every sport is really competitive. Everyone's putting effort into things, except, honestly, Kansas and football. Everyone tries to be good in what they do in the major sports, and it makes it very competitive and entertaining.
Last question of the first half from Etine Beebe. What are your thoughts on our future non-con schedule under Coach Kleiman?
Is he meaning, I guess...
Those are set.
Well, I think I can't figure out if he means, like, how is he going to schedule them, or is he going to leave these games on the schedule? I put the questions together, and I don't even know how he meant it.
Let me see it.
Like, Does he mean, like, what do you think of how Coach Kleiman will handle the future games that are set, or how will he schedule
Well,
the
I think
future?
the scheduling is actually done by the athletic department.
Yeah, but the coach has to say.
Less now.
Less now that
I played NCAA 2007, okay?
Okay. There we go, folks. All of the head-to-head Power 5 games are set through Rutgers in the year 2059. 2030.
That game will be bought out. That game will be bought out.
I don't know. Rutgers might be a football power. By
There's
then.
nothing to
They
gain.
just got a new football locker.
Oh, you're right. It is 2031 at Rutgers.
And a preview of what could be the national title game. Kansas State opens at Rutgers.
How did Rutgers get the funding to get a new locker room? Who's supporting that program?
They are the State School of New Jersey.
That's fair. Whatever.
Come on, man. They've got donors, too. 3 of them.
Well, all right. Let's just answer the question in both ways. He's not going to wipe any of these games off the schedule. Frankly, the schedule is really good for him because it pushes his team, but it also gives him some very winnable Power 5 games. Arizona, Missouri, Washington State.
Colorado.
I mean, those are teams that could they end up being top 15 programs down the line? Sure. But they could also be middle of the pack in their conference and very beatable on the road or at home. So he's not really going to change any of those unless, like I said, Rutgers gets bought out. In terms of how he schedules, I really don't think it's going to be any different than from what Coach Snyder did.
It won't be.
He'll schedule the Power 5.
He's going to keep an FCS program on the schedule, not for the same motivation of Coach Snyder, who wanted to schedule a win. He's going to do it to let them have an opportunity. That's his background. And then they'll play a MAC, Mountain West.
Look,
I mean, Tulane's in there in the future.
as a football fan, as someone that thinks it would benefit K-State to play 11 Power 5 games, I would love to see them go to what West Virginia is doing. But I'm not an idiot, and I know that you why do more than you need to do? All you really need to do, if you want to make the college football playoff, is run your conference and play at least one Power 5 out of it. There's no sense in putting a second one on there. It doesn't double prove anything.
You just summed up my basketball career right there.
Yeah.
Why do more than you need to do?
Just do what's required.
Just
meet
look,
the minimum.
I get what you're saying, but it's like West Virginia puts themselves in a precarious position because they're scheduling 2 potential losses in the non-conference instead of 2 potential wins. So if you only go 1-2 in your non-conference, you have to have a winning record in the Big 12 just to get bowl eligible.
That's tough.
It's tough. Now, the upside of that is you have the year where you win both those games, you roll into the Big 12, then you probably are more acceptable to a playoff situation. I think the scheduling will stay the same. They're going to play a Power 5. They're going to play an FBS team and an FCS team. They'll play a non-Power 5 and then an FCS team. I think that's going to stay the same. Unless there's realignment or something, there's going to be no change to this. And like I said, a lot of the contracts are signed. You can go to future football schedules and find it. That's where.
Or you can go find my old story where I set up all.
Don't do that. Don't give them the clicks.
Please give us the clicks. I would like the clicks, please.
Well, that's it for the first half of this week's Powercat Podcast, sponsored by The Fridge. This segment was sponsored by Tanner's, and we will be right back after the break with the second half.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat Podcast.
My days working, taking care of my little ones can be a lot. I checked out care.com and it was so easy for me to find local, experienced, and background check sitters. Finding our babysitter was way more affordable than I thought.
Care.com makes it super easy.
Search for qualified candidates. You can view their profiles, read reviews and ratings, check their availability, send messages directly, get the help that you need. Care.com should be every person's go-to.
If you're in the market for investment-worthy bags, watches, and fine jewelry, Rebag is the answer. Rebag is a luxury resale marketplace where each piece is carefully vetted and verified by experts to ensure quality and authenticity. If you're in the market, use Rebag to buy and sell finds from the world's top brands, including Hermes, Chanel, and Cartier. Head to Rebag.com to get 10% off your first purchase with code REBAG10. Shop today at Rebag.com. That's REBAG.com and use promo code REBAG10 for 10% off your first purchase.
Back to Fitz of the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
Welcome back to the Powercat Podcast from the WTC Gig Parrot Studios. I really like the studio. I wish it was a little cooler.
Feels pretty good to me.
I meant to turn on the fan during the break to just get some air moving.
I mean, you can turn it on right now. We had it going on that one day week in the podcast.
You know what, you guys, let's see if it's really as loud as you guys say. Well, hold on.
Did you do it?
Yeah, there we go.
I heard it, but
There's the beep. There's the wind.
Well,
the problem with this thing is it's
I need a blanket is the problem.
it starts in like the hold on.
It's something, all right. We do have one mic. Oh, I guess that one's off.
I don't know. A lot of beeping. Oh, the swing.
We can hear it.
You guys swing it. Oh, it's swinging. You know, they used to call it oscillate, but I guess that was too confusing for your generation, so they called
Is that called swinging on there?
Yeah.
I know it as oscillate.
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 There we go.
Oscillate.
And we're going to put that to one. It's blowing all on Zach now.
Put it on you.
It won't. It's like, did it get turned? Because it's not.
I had to go get turned.
Oh,
Zach's very uncomfortable.
I don't like this.
This is quality podcast right now. Right there.
Beep. Cozy.
If you need to cool off this hot summer, get to the fridge. They have air conditioning and booze and stuff. Get into the fridge at the corner of this and that in the town in which I live.
To be the worst read we've ever done.
Okay. Well,
They have air conditioning and beer and stuff.
go get to the fridge. This segment is sponsored by the High Low. They have high and low. We haven't been to High Low recently enough. We need to do that
Well,
again.
I thought that's where we were going to go today.
We should have. It was a bad call.
That was a good call.
Yeah, it was delicious. Didn't you enjoy your meal?
Yeah, it was good. I just didn't think that type of a meal needed to be eaten at noon.
I'm telling you, there's no way the dude's Irish.
People definitely know where we ate.
There's no way that an Irish guy could learn to cook Mexican food that well. What is it doing?
It's turning on and off.
The fan is pissed.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
I don't care what you say. This is the most entertaining start to a segment we've ever had.
I got one of those ultra silent fans. You turn it on, you hear it.
Yeah, Fitz is like, this is great. We can run it during the podcast. And he
We
flips
have
it on
to.
the first time. It was so damn loud. I was like, there's no way we were running that during the podcast. No way.
It sounded, first time we turned it on, it sounded like a motorcycle engine was powering it. Like what? Oh, it's fine.
You guys should let us know if you can hear it. Now.
Yeah, right there. Okay.
All right.
I think it's just a hum in the background. It's just, they'll think it's their car if they're listening in their car. I'm getting great feedback on people listening to the new podcast on their, like on Stitcher and stuff in their car. Because you can have it, Stitcher will download it automatically to your car when you get into your car. It's pretty slick.
I didn't know Stitcher was still a thing.
Sure. Big podcast.
I didn't know that.
We're on Stitcher, man. Don't make fun of it.
I just don't use it. That's all.
Well, no, because you guys have Apple.
Yeah. And Apple's like, hey, there's new podcasts available. Except I have like 3 podcasts set up on there.
Will it download it to your car automatically? So you can just hit play?
I mean,
That nice of a car fits.
I mean, it's on my phone, and my phone.
Valid point.
I have my
You barely
phone,
have a radio.
my phone Bluetooth to the speaker, and I just click play on my phone. So yeah.
That is kind of a weird feature because, yeah, if it's on your phone.
But every like 2 days, I'll get an alert. It's like a new Powercat podcast is or like, you know, not every 2 days. It'd be like once every week or so. It's like a new Powercat podcast available. and then it'll be like, I guess it used to be Between the Lines. 14 episodes of Between the Lines are now available, and then it'd be the one from the station back home, and I'd be like, all right, chill. I don't need that many podcasts all at once. That's all I get.
Anyhow, getting good feedback from people. Listen to the podcast. In fact, I just heard a secondhand story about a couple who went from Salina to Colorado and listened to our podcast the entire way. I think she's still married to him. I'm not sure. I mean, there's only so much of us you could take.
You listen to old episodes the whole way?
Yeah. That's what I was told.
What if it was just overtimes? That'd be entertaining.
We should compile the whole summer of overtimes, put them into one podcast, and make it the Ultimate Overtime Podcast.
That sounds like work. Let's go on to the second half of this week's Powercat Podcast. Here's your questions from Wabash Station.
From Garcat12761, Colin Klein is the lone coaching holdover. How do you read his demeanor towards the team this year versus prior years, realizing he wasn't able to comment in the past? Has he shared any insight with you on the new regime?
Colin is reportedly saying gosh and golly as much as he has in the past. I don't think anything's changed.
Colin's walls are still really up. You can see that.
I think everyone said Colin is perfect for Coach Snyder. They have he really knows how to handle the media. And as it turns out, I think we're finding that's just Colin. He's not one that lends himself to being a colorful talker. He's very measured in what he says. I think that's just who he is.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll relax a little bit more.
And it definitely went up a notch when you get under the Snyder. First off, being under Snyder in the media as a player is one thing, and then you take it to the next level with the coaches, and it's like you are in a bubble. So I still get that vibe, like he wants to tell us stuff when we ask him questions, but he's like, Coach might get mad at me. And Chris Kleinman would be like, dude, I don't care what you say. Say whatever you want to say. That's my opinion of it.
But we've only had Colin a few times.
That's also true.
So maybe
I'm just going to stop talking to him because he's so tall.
He is extremely tall.
The other coaches I go up to and I'm like, okay, decent. I don't feel so small around them. I feel very small around him.
He also needs to put on weight.
He does. We need to get him into some post-podcast
Have you
lunches.
noticed how skinny he is? I ask him every time. I go, have you lost even more weight? And he goes, yeah, I need to put on some weight. I'm like, well, what are you going to be, an extra in a Civil War?
What a great problem that would be to have.
I know.
I need to put on some weight.
Yeah.
And you're not a player.
Too skinny. Yeah, he'd be a great extra in a Civil War movie. Like, he just got out of Andersonville.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Colin.
We have a new name, B. Needham. Welcome to the podcast. From following recruiting, I've seen that kids in Iowa want to go to Iowa State, and Iowa, kids in Nebraska get that Nebraska offer and commit. Oklahoma recruits want to go to OU or OSU. How does K-State get these higher-level in-state recruits that want to come here instead of Nebraska, Iowa State, Minnesota, etc., poaching them?
You win.
You win. You got to win and make them feel valuable. Honestly, I think there was a perception that Coach Snyder had that you should just come, to K-State.
Why would you not?
Yeah, and that didn't work all the time. So I think they just have to invest more in the Kansas kids, be more visible at games. And I know you read the headlines of the Iowa kids. Iowa loses kids to Ohio State and other places. I know you see the headlines of other kids. I think what magnifies it in the state of Kansas is there's not as many kids. So when you lose one or two, it's big. It's a lot.
But it just, at the end of the day, like I said, it goes back to winning because and now I know Nebraska hasn't been all that good. However, Nebraska has however many national championships to flaunt. And I know Minnesota isn't a national contender necessarily, but they are a strong team in the Big Ten. I mean, let's be real honest. K-State has not been a strong competitive team since 2014. I mean, that was the last really, really good year that they had. So when you saw that Coach Schneider was probably going to quit anytime soon, you saw the program wasn't winning tons of games every year. They were just barely making it into bowl games. It's tough to want to go. I get it. But if Chris Kleiman comes in here and starts winning a bunch of games, if he starts creating a new culture, you're going to keep those. That's going to be an easier battle to win. That's just kind of the way the kids work. It's tough to sell people on staying home when staying home is your biggest selling point. Staying home should be kind of your closer, Yeah. We have a great program. We win a lot. We put kids in the NFL. Oh, yeah. And you can play in front of your family that lives 60 miles down the road. Whatever. So that's all I'm saying.
From KNED, was brand marketing the 16 goals and family to the level that they were a mistake?
Family got excessive. I'll say it. Family got excessive with everything at K-State, not even just football. It got to be a little much.
So should I tell Julie you think family's excessive?
Oh, she knows.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying that.
But let me back up one thing. I just remembered something. I just saw this tweet. The state of Arizona is also not a huge producer of talent, but more than Kansas. Of the 20 top kids in the state of Arizona in 2019, 17 went out of state. Arizona and Arizona State got clobbered in their home state. And why?
They don't win.
They're not winning. So
on to the 16 goals question.
I'll be interested to see if 16 goals is still on the wall.
I don't have a problem with 16 goals. They'll still, they're not going to take them out of the tunnel.
No, I meant on the wall in the theater room where the meeting, press conferences are.
That's a good one. I don't think they'll completely separate themselves from the 16 goals, but they're not going to be like, oh man, Coach Schneider's 16 goals when he's 5 years retired. It's like, that's not going to be a thing. I didn't think that they overplayed the 16 goals. I thought they did that an appropriate amount to where they let fans know what the 16 goals were. Every now and then a player would talk about it. But for the most part, the 16 goals kind of stayed. That was kind of a program thing, outside of the 1 year that they literally campaigned a ticket ad sale off of them. But I felt like that was more team-centered, whereas family was just like, oh, how can we get people to want to buy tickets? Oh, we'll put the word family on it. So, I don't know. Maybe people dislike me for saying that, but I thought there was a time and a place. The block was fine. But K-State family everywhere just was like...
Things can last for a year. Every year you need a new thing. So if they're using Win the Dang Day for 2 or 3 years...
If they're using Win the Dang Day after 6 games this year, unless they're 6-0... Oof.
Well, I was going to say that I think Chris Kleiman will put his goals up on the wall. Goal number 1, win the dang day. Goal number 2, don't lose the dang day.
Pound the stone.
Number 3, pound the stone.
4,
don't miss the stone, pound it. I think that's all.
I think I'm out. I think that's it. I don't think they have any more sayings.
Get a ring.
Get the dang ring.
Any sort of ring.
Number 7, my ring's way too much. Oh my goodness, that was the biggest mic drop. And I don't even think he knew he was doing it when he got asked about that at Big 12 Media Day. Because that was like, I asked him about coaching in the same state as Les Miles and how it was cool that, both Kansas schools had coaches that won national championships. He gave an answer on that. I'll have a story on Sunday about it. And I think it was Brett McMurphy was like, you didn't wear your ring down here. Coach Miles wore his ring. And he was like, oh, I'd have to pick from all my rings, and then my hand would get too heavy. And I was like, woo, you are,
yeah,
wow.
I got 7 of them.
I was like, that was something.
And I really appreciate the optimism of KU fans. Well, our coach, when he goes out and recruits, has a national championship ring. Yeah, he had a coach that had a Super Bowl championship ring, and that didn't help. I mean, didn't you learn from Charlie Weiss anything? Family, that's what we are.
From Powercat, what are your early impressions of the incoming freshman?
I think he means basketball, by the way.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I meant to put that in there. I forgot.
Way to go.
He meant basketball because he separated them. You saw him physically in person. You said Antonio looks.
Antonio Gordon looks legit. He's going to impress people walking through the airport. He's long-limbed, had some wide shoulders. Of course, they came in and sat down, so that's a little deceiving. He seemed to be a lot bigger than Montavious Murphy. In fairness, we were watching the guards practice, and the big men went into, I think, probably over into the women's area to work. So I didn't really see them play. I'm going to be blunt here. DeJuan Gordon could be very good, but he's got a ways to go. He's got a horrible hiccup in his shot that I'm surprised they're not trying to fix. The ball rests on the heel of his hand, so he ends up pushing it more than flicking it. He probably made 10% of the three-pointers that we watched. They've got to fix it, and hopefully they will. They're probably not trying to overwhelm him. He's got to get that ball up on his fingers more. But he's obviously athletic. But, folks, if you're thinking they got Michael Jordan, don't put too much on this guy. I mean, he's going to be a freshman. They're all freshmen. They're going to go through some growing pains, and they got to really figure out what it is to play at this level. So that's why I think it was good that Bruce Weber invited him to the under-19 tryouts in that camp, because he got exposure to playing with and against really high level, beyond what you do at the AAU. This was coached up, disciplined basketball. So I think that was good for him, and he said that.
From KSU Cat 80, in men's basketball, did anyone ask DeJuan Gordon how to pronounce his first name? If so, how is it pronounced?
DeJuan with an A. Spelled with an A, not sound. Sorry, that came out wrong. D-A, capital D, lowercase a, capital J,
Americanized
U-A-N.
J.
DeJuan.
Americanized J, not
Thankfully, that's not going to change. Like Jada and Tiara and Dara and Neil Williams.
But it is Gordon. It's Gordon.
Is it really?
No.
Oh. I was like, what? Do you remember? K-State signs Sean Williams in November. He shows up in the summer, and he's Neil Williams. And I was like, man, this is some Jordan Henriquez Roberts stuff all over again.
Last question of the second half from Powercat. Is it safe to say that the last scholarship will be kept open for 2020?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Look, he said in that story, unless you guys didn't read it, in that story, Bruce said that if you get to the start of the school year and you haven't signed anybody, it's pretty much over at that point. You're not going to sign anybody.
They better be pretty good to sign them.
If you find somebody that can come in and contribute this year,
or it's going to be
point?
like a 1 year, they played their true freshman year somewhere, and now they're transferring and going to redshirt. That's pretty good to have for the next year. But I don't think those guys are out there. Unless someone pops up late, I just don't see who that could be.
Number one, and you guys are probably well aware of all the people out there. There's too many targets in 2020 that A, they're after, B, that I believe they have a very good chance with. There's too many of them for them to recruit this class with 2 scholarships. I believe it'd be good to go into a 3 and then whatever attrition might come afterwards. And B, don't even give me the argument of, oh, well, you could add another body for practice. You have those bodies. That's why you took the Dodge City walk-on Joe Petrikis. That's why you have Pearson McAtee, who's a pretty good basketball player on the roster. That's why you have your walk-ons. That's why you have your guys that don't play a whole lot. They are your bodies in practice. If you go out and add somebody for practice points at this point, they got to still adjust to college too. They're just going to give your guys an easy go at it in practice. So I don't see any benefit to adding anybody at this point. Go into it with 3 and maybe, you get a 4th one down the line. 2020 is going to be a big class, and I think that you could do some damage here if you kept your scholarships open.
Just hold on to the scholarship, let Pearson McAtee use it for the year, and go fill it for next year.
You want to take it away from him, though?
Is he just junior?
Yeah. Or is he a senior? No, he's a junior.
I don't know.
He's a junior. Well, I'll do some digging into it and let you guys know on the other side of it. But if he's a senior, then yeah, go ahead and give it to him.
Digging means he's going to get on the internet.
Like I just did. And found out that Pearson McAtee is indeed a senior. So why don't we just give him the scholarship?
That's a good idea, Riley.
All right. In that case, my answer's changed. Give him the scholarship.
I think it's the best thing to do, unless someone really pops up that can help you out. And then just use it for the next year and Go get... You know what? He's got to get another class to back up this class. He's got to start stringing together recruiting classes because that's what got them into this problem. They had the big three. They signed those guys. They were good, but they didn't fill enough guys, enough quality players in the next 2-3 classes. I mean, you think about it. They had like 3 total guys, and then they picked up Malween off the transfer market. Well, that's it for the second half of the podcast. We got an overtime to go.
It was a good overtime.
Riley says it's good overtime. I believe him. He's been to Hawaii.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat Podcast.
Is your January looking dry? Get some lotion. Get a humidifier. And better yet, get Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. With Drizzly, you can compare prices across local stores to get the best price on a huge selection of drinks perfect for dry January. Every single time. Non-alcoholic wines? Have a look. Ready-made mocktails? Grab a straw and order them up. Beer without the alcohol? Yep, take your pick. You can find all of them here, in the app, in that phone that's in your hand. Could it be any simpler? Nope, not a chance. So shop for great deals on all your dry January beverages or other drinks and get them delivered to your door or blanket fort, maybe. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations. And don't forget to lotion up your elbows. They're looking a little dry.
Diets and workouts, you've done the work, so why can't you get to your goal weight? That's because up to 70% of your weight is predetermined by your genetics. So while you've been told that it's all about your willpower, you're actually fighting your biology. Don't do it alone. Found's Doctor Design program uses medication as part of a treatment plan that targets your body's unique biological needs, so that your body works with you and not against you. Take the quiz at joinfound.com to see if Found's weight loss program is right for you.
Back to Fitz of the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
And it is the overtime of the Powercat Podcast. I hate to say this is the last overtime you're going to get in July. This is it.
There's no more time to go over.
This is the last podcast. And by the time I get this up on the site, it's barely going to be July at all. Had a weird day here. Had a busy day, a productive day here at the World Headquarters in downtown Manhattan. I love it when we bring people in from the Power Chat and they look around and go, holy crap, that's really nice.
You want to say who said that today? Or? No, I don't think we should.
I already blew the opening guest. I've opted not to beep it out.
Oh. I mean, with all the other work we got to do with the podcast, might as well.
Yeah, we had some issues in this podcast.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Good.
You probably noticed Zach got ramped up a little bit in the first 2 segments. Some of it. We redid the questions. When you redo questions, if we'd never mentioned it, most people would have noticed.
Yeah.
When you redo questions, you do them exactly how you read them on the show, and I appreciate that.
I try my best.
So I just drop them right in. So anyhow, this is the overtime. We're sponsored by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and we're in the WTC Gig Pirate Studios. No more waiting around. Here are your overtime questions from Wabash Station.
From KSU number 1, name the worst and best stadiums you have ever been to in any sport.
When you sent me to Las Vegas for that ridiculous tournament, I still can't believe they lost.
I know.
The Orleans Arena is a dump.
See, this is what I can't figure out. I know the Orleans is not a great casino. I mean, it's off strip.
Oh, it's not even a good casino.
I get it. I mean, it's not even really a quality of some of the downtown casinos. And let's be honest, that doesn't say much. But they're proud of their arena. They have a lot of things in their arena. You know, events, concerts. They do stuff in that arena. Fix it up.
They do concerts. There must be a small concert.
Yeah, smaller concerts. Yeah.
Okay. That's a small arena.
Bad acts.
Yeah.
That place was a dump. It was a tough place to get to. There didn't seem to be any, I just felt like I was running around with my head cut off the whole time, and just overall was not a nice facility to be in.
But
not fun.
But to get there, you got to go through the wave of smoke in the casino.
It was awful.
Like the big casinos, they're smoking in them, but they have air scrubbers. They basically, they take out all the smoke. You don't even know it's there. It just takes it right out of the air.
I felt like it was a bunch of grandmas playing penny slots, smoking a cigarette and drinking a white wine at 4 p.m.
That sounds like a good life.
That's easily the worst basketball place I've been.
They make a lot more in Vegas off penny slots than sports gambling. I mean, a lot more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pennies.
Vanderbilt's bad.
Vanderbilt was horrible. Vanderbilt was
Liberty Bowl is bad.
Liberty Bowl
Is it bad that I've basically wiped the Vanderbilt trip from my brain? I mean, I really have.
It was traumatic.
I have memories from the night before going out.
That you shouldn't have memories of.
That was a fun night. I remember the ridiculous White Castle trip Zach and I took.
Oh, yeah.
But, the entire game itself, I mean, I don't even remember how we parked, where we parked, how we got there. I don't remember the game. I kind of remembered the lousy press conference we had after where nobody wanted to talk to us. It's I've blocked that. I've scrubbed it from my mind.
And then Jesse Ertz tweeted you after the game.
Yep.
For properly quoting him.
Yes, how dare I quote what he said. Arg.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
It took a year and a half for it to end, but that was beginning of the end. But yeah, that Vanderbilt Stadium, come on, guys. You're in the SEC. Act like it. I mean, spend some of the money you make on the money maker.
And they're not even a joke of an SEC. I'm not saying they're a contender in the SEC, but, they're not.
They are. James Franklin years aside, they were pretty much a joke.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I feel like they have the money to do it.
I'm anxious to hear your guys' reviews of the Mississippi State Stadium.
Honestly, I couldn't picture it right now if you paid me to.
I just can't believe Vanderbilt is in the SEC and has such a shoddy stadium. And what the problem is, it's political. Some people want to fix up their Memorial Stadium or whatever it's called. It's basically an ancient stadium in the heart of campus, and it's landlocked, and there's not much they can do. And some people want to build a new stadium, maybe share it with a soccer franchise that's in Nashville. And so they just go back and forth and nothing ever gets done. Why are you going to put renovations in a stadium when you might move to a different stadium? But don't move to a different stadium. We've got a tradition here at this stadium. So they just keep going in circles, and it's a piece of crap. It's a piece of crap. Another piece of crap was the Utah Jazz Arena that I watched K-State go to the Elite Eight in. That place was awful.
It's the Utah Jazz. I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
I enjoyed NRG Stadium in Houston. It was a nice place. I mean, we were essentially birds looking down on people. But it was still cool.
We're not the best people to ask. We go to games, we find the press box, we do our work, we take an elevator. Usually maybe you have to cut through the stands, but go down underneath. We're into the underside of an arena. And let me tell you, right, Zach, every underside of the arena is awful.
They look the same.
Awful. I mean, it doesn't matter. The Sprint Center, great place. Underside's an underside. It's just concrete pillars and unfinished
Cinder
space.
blocks.
I'm eager to see how game day experience changes at TCU now that they have the new video board. They switched to turf, all that.
Wait, they switched to artificial turf?
Yeah.
You sure?
I thought they
98% certain they did.
I was thinking they went to grass.
I thought
No,
they
they
switched.
were
I thought
grass
they
last
switched their grass strain to a different strain that was grown on their practice field.
Anyway, I like TCU Stadium. Well, every time KU talks about, which is a junk hole, which is what brought this up because someone did a listing of the worst stadiums, and Memorial Stadium was 17, 18. It should have been in the teens or in the single digits. But yeah. Every time I'm at Memorial Stadium, I think that they were talking about 60,000 seats. I'm like, why? Why? Vanderbilt's a perfect example. Not Vanderbilt. TCU's a perfect example. Baylor's a perfect example. Just get into that 50,000
Smaller than
range.
that.
Yeah. Just go 45,
35.
50. Just do it. Just be what you are. Have a smaller, full stadium that is really nice with good seats. That's just my opinion.
There's something about Gary Patterson said that they play quicker on turf, and so they were switching But it doesn't say if they were switching grass or if they were switching to turf.
See, I thought that the practice field was a different grass.
I think
and
the
they
practice
switched
field
to
is
that.
turf. I don't know. It's confusing.
Whatever.
I think they're just giving their players grass to smoke.
My least favorite's probably the Alamo Dome. It's just a giant warehouse. There's no character
Can
to
you
it.
believe the Spurs played there for so many years?
No.
Just crazy.
I can't believe they have NCAA tournaments as recent as 2018.
Yeah.
Last year. They had the Final Four there.
You know, and they need to fix it up. UTSA plays there, which is a really good, even though it's bad, it's really good for the level they play at.
Yeah.
I'm sure the crowds are massive.
They
But-
sometimes fill the lower bowl.
But they're set up if they ever get good. UTSA could be a Florida, Atlantic, Central Florida, maybe. You got a lot of talent around there. Playing San Antonio. The reason San Antonio still gets stuff is because it's the location of that arena. I mean, that stadium is right there off the Riverwalk. Okay. We done with this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
From Adam K63, is Tyler from The Bachelorette the first contestant to play a game inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium since Sean Lowe?
Has to be.
You researched this. didn't
Based on my knowledge of the show.
you? And that's deep, by the way, folks.
I do watch it. I do watch it religiously, and I'll say that.
Did you cry?
I'll scream it from the mountaintops. I love that show. It's great.
You cry, don't you?
I don't cry.
You get emotional when someone gets cut. I loved it.
I only cry when it's like, you're like, damn, you know, I would be perfect for that girl. And then you're like, oh, wait, she's a celebrity now. And it doesn't work like that. But anyways, yeah, I think he is. Tyler played at Florida Atlantic in 16 when K-State won 64-7. He got one pass for 4 yards.
Big place.
He is not. Well, I guess I shouldn't say he does not drop a pass because they don't keep that stat on ESPN. But he did catch a pass. So I have to imagine, based on my knowledge of the football players that have played, that have been on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and Colton from a couple of years ago played at Illinois State, but that was not when Illinois State came to town. So yes, I have reason to believe that is the fact. Tyler is the first since Sean Lowe. And did Sean, I mean, whatever, how much Sean Lowe played, but
Not a whole lot.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
pretty
let's
equal,
be
I
honest.
think. So there you have it. There's your connection, and that's probably why you should watch. Because you never know when you're going to find like a former college football player, basketball player on there, and then you're like, wonder if they played K-State. And then they did.
We got to get Sean Lowe for the Power Chat.
We should.
Can I do that one?
You got to do the overtime questions.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
So, the fantasy suite.
What's that all about?
What's it all about?
Like, is it real?
Do the cameras really leave you alone?
And tell me this. Why do you guys go on all those dates, but you never eat any food? Frankly, you just take one sip of the drink in front of you, and that's that. Did you eat McDonald's before? I think that's a good question.
Look, I saw some of the finale, and I'm like, they're in Greece? What is the travel budget this year for this show?
It's wild.
Dude, I'm just like, side rant. Whenever they're like, oh, our first date was amazing. We went on a helicopter ride, and then we sat ocean view in a hot tub standing over the Pacific. And I'm like, all right, well, that's just pretty damn unrealistic because, like, we can't do that.
Yeah, your dates would be. Our date was so awesome. We went to Taco Lucha and got bean dip.
Like, yeah.
And then the high-low for beer.
But it's like everything you do after that point, when you go back to normal life,
I know, you're screwed.
is crap. When we went to a movie and we spent $100 at a steakhouse for a mediocre steak. Like,
ABC isn't paying me to take you on all these dates anymore.
Come on,
it's going to go
ABC.
downhill from here.
come on now.
From Wildcat Pilot 88, who gets their next ring first, Chris Kleiman or Jason Brown?
Jason Brown's going to find some JUCO in California or someplace to hire him. He's going to win a league title by bringing in a bunch of players.
But Chris Kleiman has the opportunity to go to a small bowl game this year,
He could.
like the Armed Forces Bowl, and win.
Man, that Armed Forces Bowl next to
Played on grass.
his 7 national title rings,
No.
that will be like a pinky ring.
Yeah, but I think it has to be.
Just size mine for the pinky, because that's all I'm going to wear it for.
Dude's running out of fingers. He's like Phil Jackson.
We're going to tell him that. You're like Phil Jackson.
But I think Jason Brown will coach.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Dude's a good coach.
He's not a good coach. He's a good recruiter who does enough with his talent. And I understand what he says. If you put a camera on almost any coach and edit it to have the most dramatic clips, the coach is going to come off looking bad. There's no ratings in showing him sitting down with Bobby Bruce trying to get the kid's life on track. You know, there's no ratings in that, and I would like
allowing Bobby Bruce to come back. I mean,
and I sit there and wonder, do the producers go, bring him back? And the quarterback, what's his name?
Malik Henry.
Bring him back for the drama, which screwed up their season.
It did, but if he'd have left Malik in that game they lost, they win, they go 2-0, and God knows what happens.
Yeah, right.
Did they announce a school for season 5? Or
They haven't announced the season 5 at all.
Okay, they're just going to make the spinoff
I think what they do is
fiction.
They're
waiting to see how many downloads season 4 had before Netflix greenlights them. But
Which is weird because
Maybe.
at this time last year, they were already following Independence
Well,
because they were at Media Day.
Well, they have to pick a new school.
I know. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is they had already gotten renewed. They didn't get like a 2-year contract, I'm sure. Like, I don't think they went into Indy with a 2-year mindset. I think they went into Indy with one. They were pleased with the results. Then went back to Indy for another one. Or they just renewed it a lot earlier because Indy was supposed to be good last year. But, like, you have to find somebody that's like Jason Brown or Buddy.
Right.
Buddy, whatever his last name
Stevens.
was. Yeah.
It's the offensive coordinator's a new coach at Indy, and he's a nice guy who doesn't cuss a lot, and
But
it'd
Indy's
be
going
boring.
to suck.
Doesn't have any hot tubs.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. Doesn't
They'll
talk
be
about his drinking and
4-6, and
if that. Maybe they go to Garden. Garden's got a new coach.
Garden shut him down the first time. I don't think they'd let go, but go to Garden.
Although-
they can go to Butler. That'd be lit.
Although Garden can now look at the results of what it did for Indy football,
Yeah,
even though it was some destruction there. Yeah,
dude, I could do a whole segment on that season. Hot take: it was one of the top 2 seasons of the 4, and Jason Brown is not as bad of an individual person as he is painted to be. Although his legal issues are what they are.
So how would you rank the seasons then? What was the best? I'm assuming you're saying that one was
1,
the second
4, 2, 3.
one. Okay.
Or 3-2. The second EMCC one was just like, we're here again. We're good again. Oh, whatever. Yeah. I like this one because you had to see, like...
I'm in it.
I was in it. But got a true picture of JUCO football when you're not one of the top programs in the country. The dudes were literally like, I don't care what we do as a team. I care about me at this point. And, like, they hated the coach. They were a lot of them were out to get him. And I'm just like, this is really entertaining TV. I don't even care about the football, frankly. It was really entertaining, so I liked it.
From Infected Testicle, would you rather be an average player on a team that wins the Super Bowl or a Hall of Fame player on a team that never makes the playoffs?
Give me the ring.
not in the Hall of Fame then.
I don't care. There's a lot of players that got rings that aren't in the Hall of Fame that I would probably think they have a better career.
Is Jordy Nelson going to be in the Hall of Fame?
He'll be in the Packer Hall of Fame. He won't go to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's hard to... I don't know.
I love Jordy, but he didn't have a Hall of Fame career.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Yeah.
But he got
a ring.
Yeah, and I think K-State fans, honestly, I think if he'd had a Hall of Fame career and not won a Super Bowl, I don't think we remember him. We remember Jordy Nelson's NFL career a lot because of that catch in the Super Bowl. And they won the Super Bowl. And that was really cool. That kind of made him.
Would you rather have a Hall of Fame coach or a national title? National title.
A Hall of Fame.
Would you rather have Bill Snyder or a national title?
That's a sore subject, I think.
Hey, look, I have problems imagining myself being a great player that ends up in the Hall of Fame. And I'm comfortable imagining myself as an average player, so I'd want to be on a good team. Knowing my luck, I'd end up on, Cleveland.
I mean, I guess just put it in, like, I know it's not the same thing, but, like, put it in high school terms.
Here
Like,
we go.
would you rather be a first-team All-Stater or would you rather win a state championship? You'd rather win the state championship because then you're always going to have that story to look back on. And I imagine it's the same thing for professionals.
You got that little thing you can put on your Letterman jacket and wear it to college.
Dude, I saw someone once wearing a letter jacket in college, and I was like, honestly, well, I wouldn't do it because you get judged. That was the warmest jacket I ever had. It still is to this day. So I kind of wished in college they were acceptable because, like, this thing was warm. That was real warm.
No.
I'm not saying I wish I could have paraded my letter jacket around for accomplishments. I wanted the warmth of the jacket. I didn't have a big winter jacket at that point because I had just always worn my letter jacket as my winter jacket.
I think you wanted to wear it.
No, I didn't. No.
I think you should wear it to Aggieville.
I don't think I'm
Hey,
allowed.
Gates!
I don't think people yell that at me without a letter jacket, all right?
From Powercat, what is more terrifying, going to the dentist or sitting next to a person on a plane who takes their shoes off?
Well, for me, it's most terrifying to be the middle
It should be a
seat.
crime.
If I'm in the middle seat next to two strangers, it's traumatic. I'm a big guy, and there's always that guy that weighs 130 pounds in a perfectly comfortable seat that puts his elbow on the armrest right into your fat roll. And you're like, dude, I'm fat. Could you at least respect my space, what I have here?
He just wanted a cushion.
Just stay on your space, Bones. Get over there, man.
It should be illegal to take your shoes off on a plane. It should be illegal.
I'm not saying I do it, but
If you're sitting
Okay,
with
hold on.
other people,
Okay, hold on. We're not talking. Are we talking flip-flops so you're barefooted, or just you slide?
I mean, honestly, even if you take flip-flops off, there is a noticeable difference in the smell.
I'd say no.
I mean, there's no difference?
No, there's
You
no
want to smell my
difference.
flip-flops right
I'm
now?
not saying
No.
I'm not saying you should do it, but I don't think there's a noticeable difference.
I
wearing
get a whiff of my
flip-flops.
feet when I take my flip-flops off because it comes out of my, like, if you sweat and you, like, if your feet sweat, it goes into the flip-flop. I mean, unless you're wearing like a,
No, I understand that.
and it comes up.
I'm not,
That
but
said-
I think having a bare foot is more offensive than a socked foot.
Yeah.
Now, the problem isn't people take their shoes off. Well, if they have foot odor, yes, but they put them up into other people's line of vision.
Yo,
Like if you take your shoes off underneath the seat in front of you and your feet stay there, nobody knows.
if you're putting your feet up, shoeless, barefoot, sock, foot, whatever, if you're putting your feet up, I think you're getting too comfortable on an airplane.
Yeah, well, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's just a little. That said, the dentist is not that bad. I've been to the dentist. I go twice a year. It's the same routine every time. Oh, teeth look nice. Probably could brush a little more in the back. How often do you floss? I say, not as enough as I should. Ha ha ha. Well, if you floss a little bit, maybe the gums stop bleeding every now and then. But other than that, you're fine. All right, see you in 6 months.
When was the last time your teeth were flossed? I'm like, I don't know. You were there.
You tell me.
That's pretty much a dinner conversation at the Carlson household, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
going to dinner or going to the dentist is just seeing Dad at work.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal. If my dad was a dentist and he was like scraping my teeth and all, because it doesn't matter how healthy your teeth are. Like, it's still kind of like when you're poking your gums and scraping in between teeth with a metal instrument with a sharp end, it's going to hurt. And if my dad had been doing that to me, I probably would have hit him in the face.
Oh, my dad doesn't do that. That's what the hygienist is for. He just comes in and he looks. He's just, all right, you're good.
Ever since I turned 18, they started checking for like lumps and stuff, on your tongue, on kind of like throat, and it's like, ugh. He's kind of aggressive with it, to be honest with you. I don't like it.
You're a different dentist.
So I used to go to Zach's dad as my dentist. And as you guys know, I'm a little bit claustrophobic, just a tad claustrophobic. I don't like to have people in my space. I don't like to feel like I'm trapped. And so they're redoing my fake front teeth because I got them knocked out in a horrific scooter accident in the 6th grade.
Scooter.
The wood slab scooters are the 4 wheels.
Ours were plastic, but yeah.
The scooters of death. I mean, there's no way those are safe.
Did you guys get to go down a ramp on them?
Excuse me?
I don't remember that. No.
Oh.
That'd have been awesome.
Maybe we didn't go down the ramp with the scooters. We had the scooters, but we had a ramp that we'd go with the little turtles. Like they're, I don't know how you call them, but it's like a scooter with handlebars.
Yeah.
You sit on them and you move.
It's what he's talking about, except the improved version.
Well, we got to go down a ramp in the gym with
not
those.
safe at all.
I feel a lot of the things I did as a youth were not safe at all.
There was a time in history where America was just like, dude, you can't do that.
Hey, Mom, what's for lunch? Peanut butter and lead paint.
Well, now you can't even eat peanut butter anymore in some schools.
Oh, in school. I was like,
why? No. All the kids that are allergic.
Oh, true. But anyhow, I'm getting my front 2 teeth reformed, and they're permanent. And I absolutely freaked out. I was out of the chair like a crazed bear.
Did you have braces in high school? You'd have been awful when they tried to make your molds.
No, yeah, I can't.
Because even if you took it out, it's still in your mouth and it's still messing with you.
Yeah, no.
Yikes.
I had crooked teeth. That's my story about it.
I hope your father has enjoyed this conversation.
I'm sure he'll listen. From K-Ned, you have the first pick of the K-State basketball draft. Who are you picking out of Boozer, Evans, Rolando, Mitch, Poland, and for recent fans, he'll even give us Dean Wade?
Mike Evans is the one that I feel like we should pick, but I'm not. I don't know. A lot of those guys, I'm just basing on the numbers and a few highlights I've seen.
I remember Mike, and he was incredible. And you got to keep in mind, too, with the numbers, he didn't have the three-point line, and he shot a lot of 20-plus footers.
But, I got to be honest, he said he wasn't going to include not Jake. He wasn't going to include Mike Beasley in there. And I'm like, given the numbers he put up in college and what he did that year, he's got to be part of the list, in my opinion, especially if Dean Wade's on there. I'm sorry. Mike did more at K-State than Dean did. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think
I don't know. Dean won a couple titles. Or a title.
One. Yeah. But team versus individual. I'm strictly talking, I just need a player.
Mike's All-American.
I'm going to take Mike 11 times out of 10 before I took Dean Wade.
Yeah.
But on that list, I'm going to go Jake, just because I know what he can do with the ball. Now, if it's the NBA, I'm not taking Jake.
Yeah.
He'd be my last pick.
I suspect the right choice is Bob Boozer because he was so dominant in his era. I remember him faintly from his NBA career, but that's just too old for me.
Would his game fit today?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He's so damn tall.
He was tall. He was athletic. He can get up and down. But I'd go with Mitch Richmond. That's my guy. That was my college. That's who played in college when I was here.
I feel like it's tough to not pick Mitch.
And he was a gamer.
Mitch or Rolando. That's what I take.
Rolando's not bad. Rolando is the guy that fits the game now better than he did back then. He was a 6'6", 6'7" guard. Not a great shot, but good enough, and could guard the 4 to the 1.
That'd be a nice tool to have.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him a tool.
He was Wesley Iwundu with more offensive ability.
By a mile?
Yeah.
From I Like Pickles Cat, are Mike and Ike's jelly beans?
This question blows my mind.
I don't eat Mike and Ike's.
No, they're not.
So they're not a hard candy.
They're soft like a jelly bean. They're just not shaped like a jelly bean.
They
get stuck in your teeth.
They're skinny.
They're molded. They're long.
They look. I don't pull a picture of one. I need to see it.
They look like an elongated Tic Tac.
Yeah, which
is hard candy.
Is it Tic Tac candy?
Mike and Molly.
Well, they have orange ones, so I would assume yes.
Okay, the way I'm looking at these things right here. Oh, please pull up a picture. You can't tell me that is not just a skinny jelly bean.
Like a jelly bean that went to fitness camp?
It's not a jelly bean.
I didn't say it was a jelly bean. I said it looks like a skinny jelly bean. And if they're the same substance to an extent, and this doesn't even look that much different.
Those are jelly beans.
I know. I pulled up a picture of jelly beans and a picture of Mike and Ike's, and I'm comparing them. And the only difference is that jelly bean is fat. And if you squeezed a jelly bean and kind of molded it a little bit, it would look like a Mike and Ike.
Then it would be a Mike and Ike.
So it's a jelly bean. So a Mike and Ike is a jelly bean.
No.
No, if you can change the form of the jelly bean to look like a Mike and Ike physically, and they're both chewy,
Can you change a Mike and Ike to look like a jelly bean?
you can probably squish it down.
No.
I bet you go buy me some jelly beans, some Mike and Ikes, and let me do some work.
What a weird request.
I'm really not going to do that, actually. Not going to do. Although I want to say this, I kind of like jelly beans, but I prefer Mike and Ike's if it's the right flavors.
I don't truthfully know the answer, but I think yeah.
But that was a great argument. Even though that was like
saying.
debate class
Just saying.
level crap right there. I really don't believe what I'm saying, but here's what I'm going to say.
I wish we'd had debate in high school. That would have been fun.
Zach was definitive. No.
No. Not a jelly bean.
There we go.
Is that what you're saying? You're going with me?
I'm going to go with you.
Yes.
Doesn't subtract my enjoyment of Mike and Ike's. I'm not sure if I like it.
I don't think I don't eat them because when I was younger, that was like Parker's favorite candy. And when I was younger, I just had to. If he liked it, I couldn't like it. We just had to be different. So like I didn't like them, and now I don't eat them.
From Purple Powerhouse, what is your favorite outdoor activity that doesn't require insane athletic ability? His is disc golf.
Dude, I played so much beer darts in college. It was easy.
They're like lawn darts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just set up a little board with a beer can, and you throw darts at it.
No.
No, not like lawn darts.
What's lawn darts?
Lawn darts are you put down a target in the lawn and they're giant.
Oh no, beer
Giant
darts.
spikes you throw.
Dangerous.
It's kind of dangerous.
Beer darts
Again,
is like, let's say Zach and I are sitting like on the ground, not on the ground, but like in a lawn chair.
smoking weed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And we both have like a board next to us, or it's like a L. It's an L-shaped thing,
Made of weed.
and there's a backboard. No, what? No. Where did weed come into the conversation? It's a beer right there, and I throw darts at Zach's beer, and he throws them in my beer. If I hit Zach's can, he has to drink it down to where the hole is, and then puts the beer back down.
This is complicated.
No, it's not. And then if I hit it a second time, he's got to finish it. The two different nuances to that. No, that's not
Yes,
the right.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
to that rule. If I throw through the can, if it makes a complete hole all the way through, whole beer's gone. If I hit the top of the can somehow, whole beer's gone. Other than that, you just drink down to the hole. It's so fun.
So if you throw it to where it punctures both sides, the beer's gone because of the holes?
You lose a lot of beer, yes. But the key is to try to drink it. I mean, you don't wear nice clothes when you play this game because you're going to get beer all over you.
This proves my point. This is
Waste of
why
beer.
I'm not into drinking games. This is a distraction from what I really want to do, and that's drink the damn beer.
Well, I always have one to the side because nobody's good enough to hit mine. Everybody misses.
What
So I got to
happens?
have a side beer to drink.
Because you're the greatest.
What
No, because they suck. There's nothing I do that makes them bad.
What happens if you put your opponent's eye out with a dart?
We have stuck a few guys in the shin and the calf before.
So do you use metal darts? Metal tip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Obviously, yeah, I
can.
guess, yeah.
Can't really do that with a plastic tip.
I'd say mine is just regular golf.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. I was a sand volleyball guy back in the day. Not that I was ever good at sand volleyball because it has sand. Kind of get stuck in it. But now I'm an aggressive gardener. Uh-huh.
Green thumb.
I've heard your stories. Sounds like physical work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that takes an insane amount of athletic ability.
Did you be a gardener? Yeah.
It takes an insane amount of patience.
And budget.
None of which we have.
Yeah, the amount of money I spent on mulch that is still most of it's still in the bags on my driveway because I bought it on the hottest day of summer. And now that it's cooled down, I'm working on some other stuff.
Last question of the podcast from Powercat. How many years would you cut off your life to have a Whataburger within 5 miles of your house?
I ain't got any years to give, man.
If you have a Whataburger that close, you're already cutting yourself.
That's exactly it.
You're clogging your arteries. Like, I'm eating there at least twice a week.
I feel like because I don't have one next to my house, I've gained years.
That's no question. That's
My freshman 15 can be attributed to Whataburger.
Oh, man. I did a freshman 20, and it would have been a freshman 30 if I went to Oklahoma State.
Let's be honest. If we had Whataburger available to us right now, we wouldn't be obsessed with Whataburger at the level we are.
That's also true, but I still would eat it twice a week.
Oh, it's very good.
I mean, it replaces McDonald's.
Yeah, you just don't eat
Chick-fil-A
and
is-
Wendy's.
And Wendy's is my go-to.
If I had a drive-through at Five Guys, I would eat that all the time. But this requires me parking my car, getting up. I think it's pretty good.
I mean,
Oh,
I
I'm
like
not
it.
saying Five Guys isn't good. I'm saying I've had it 5 times, and I'm like, you know what? This is pretty greasy.
Dude, even when I came back from my friend's wedding and I was miserably hungover, and I was like, oh, Five Guys would do the trick. I just felt worse and still hungover.
I had 5 Guys.
I mean, it's delicious.
Too many guys.
I ordered 5 Guys on Uber Eats on Sunday. It came in a plastic bag. Or, I mean, there's a paper
Right.
bag on the inside. Comes in a plastic bag, you know. The paper bag on the inside is completely wet with grease.
Oh my god!
Delicious.
Like,
It was still good,
I just
but
put on 5 pounds listening to that.
it was kind of gross.
I don't know. I would give up some of my life to have a Whataburger that close, but I don't know what the proper number on that is. I don't. I mean, after a certain point in life, all I'm going to be doing is sitting on a chair, eating, sitting on the chair again, eating again, going to bed.
God, you just described me.
This chair, is this
So at
chair a
50
toilet?
So at 55, like Fitz, my life will be over.
I'll be just sitting in a chair watching whatever the equivalent in 30 years is to Netflix.
And I feel like at that point, I'm like, well, I could toss in a few, but I also don't want to give them up at the end.
Backload the Whataburger.
This is hard. How about we don't have to give them up? We just let it happen, you know? If you give me a Whataburger that close, I'm going to take years off my life, but I don't have to set them in stone.
you just don't know.
I just let it happen.
Yeah, you don't know that all that Whataburger cost you 3 years.
And I'd be happy not knowing that. If it's the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I give up 5 years of my life for this, it wouldn't be as enjoyable. But if I passed because I had too much Whataburger, I'd be like, well, you know what? They say, find something you love and let it kill you.
Man, that burger was good. Too bad I gave up seeing the birth of my grandchildren.
Man, if I'm 70 and you have... That's an old grandpa.
No, it's not. It is in some corners.
That means... Okay, maybe I'm just different. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm 23. My grandpa's like 74.
Yeah, but you're the oldest.
Yeah, but...
Well, sounds like it's time for grandkids.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Great grandkids coming to the Gates family.
I think I'll be in a little bit of trouble.
Riley in Acuville featuring Reckless Sex.
Man, we were just talking about Whataburger and it turned to a dig at me. How the hell does this happen every week?
Oh, he's wearing his Letterman's jacket and he's getting some girls.
I mean, it hasn't worked at this point. Might as well try something else.
We're out of the podcast. That's it for this week's podcast, this month's podcast, whatever you want to say. We'll be back in August with more podcasts, and even more than one a week is right around the corner. And stay tuned next week for the debut of the Powercat. Thanks for listening.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.